Molweni, Dumelang, Aksheni, Sanibonani, Habari, and a very warm welcome to the first National Indigenous Knowledge Systems Job Summit. As your program director, my name is Mayashri Chinsami, and I'm also the research manager at the Department of Science and Innovation, National Research Foundation, Center in Indigenous Knowledge Systems, which is a consortium of 5 higher education institutions in the country, namely the Northwest University, the Hub, which is the University of KwaZulu-Natal, University of Limpopo, University of Venda, and University of South Africa. And collectively, these institutions are driving the development of indigenous knowledge systems nationally and internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of our housekeeping, we'd like to please observe the following. Panelists to please mute our video and mics during the proceedings, and only when invited by the session facilitator, panelists can unmute their mic and video and proceed with their presentations. Participants, there is a chat and Q&A section for comments and questions from yourselves, and we definitely encourage you to share your thoughts and ideas with us during the course of the proceedings. Also, please note that the link to the Facebook and YouTube channels will allow you to follow the proceedings live. These have been posted on the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I now allow us that as a way of evoking a shared spirit amongst the diversity of cultures and linguistic groups represented by our panelists and participants, the organizers would like to commence the proceedings with a series of anthems.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa a tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and toil together to give the best we have to Africa, the cradle of mankind and font of culture, our pride and hope and break of dawn. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
Così si gelere Africa, manu pagani su ponoloayo, yizwa imitanda zoyetu, Così si gelera tina musapoloayo, murena buluka se chava sa Yesu. groei in kundigheid, mag U ons lei. Sien ons hoe hier lei met U hand, laat U sien rus oor ons land. Three strong streams united flow, Africa stands proud and tall. As we learn, we trust, we know God is in control. Bless us, O Lord, guide us with grace. May Northwest be blessed always. Bless us, O Lord, sien ons lief. Ore Jehovah Tsemorena, sien ons, bless us, O Lord.
We now move on with our program. As we call on our next speaker, I'd like to reiterate that the role of Indigenous knowledge is being increasingly realized in the global knowledge economy, as well as the dominant Western-based knowledge systems cannot alone provide solutions to our global challenges. The South African government has been exemplary in driving a knowledge-based economy, championing Indigenous knowledge systems, as well as the complementarity of knowledge systems in order to build a knowledge-based economy for sustainable development. The IKS Job Summit looks at how Indigenous knowledge systems human capital can be the driver of creativity, innovation, and the generation of new ideas through the integration of our rich diversity of cultures, knowledge systems, languages, and value systems in order to create competitive advantage in areas of research, education, innovation for socioeconomic growth and livelihood. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite our first speaker to provide the welcome address, Prof. D. Modise, the Executive Dean from the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences at the Northwest University. He's also a member of the CIKS Steering Committee. Prof. Modise, please, welcome.
Well, Mutsamaisa Program Director, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Blade Zimande, who is joining us later or tomorrow, as well as the Vice Chancellor of Northwest University, Professor N. Khwadi, who will also be joining us later or tomorrow. Executive Management of Northwest University, dignitaries, representatives from various governments, traditional leaders, as well as representatives of the private sector and industry, universities represented here, including those from neighboring countries. I know we have representatives from Namibia, distinguished guests, IKS ambassadors, IKS students, and staff members, and many other South Africans present here. We also have IKS unemployed graduates and Indigenous knowledge holders and practitioners. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, gives me pleasure to be given this opportunity to welcome all of you from the various organizations to this important job summit hosted by Northwest University's Indigenous Knowledge System Center. The IKS Center is under the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. As already indicated by the program director, we are in a partnership as a consortium with other institutions such as the University of Venda, University of KwaZulu-Natal, University of Limpopo, and UNISA. The summit is the first of its kind since the establishment of IKS at Northwest University and in other institutions of higher learning. As Northwest University, including the faculty, we hereby would like to indicate to all of you that We fully support and are behind the efforts and continuous commitment that the National IKS Jobs Summit Task Team has put since the beginning of 2021 to organize this event. It was a mammoth task, but the team did very well and it has finally come to fruition. We appreciate the efforts and the support from the Vice Chancellor's Office of Professor Den Khwadi, and of course the support from the Office of the Honorable Minister. IKS is one of our strategic focus areas that we wish to see growing. We are committed to ensure that it is sustainable, contributes to the transformation of our institution, society, and the nation at large. The core business of Northwest University, like all other universities, is teaching and learning, research, and community engagement. And IKS is central to all those mentioned areas. Bagaetsu, we are grateful for the continuous financial support that Northwest University and IKS continues to receive from the National Department of Science and Innovation, the National Research Foundation, Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, NSFAS, NWU, and other organizations. Also in terms of providing bursaries to our students, both undergrad and postgrad students since 2013. Program director, there is a Setswana expression that says, Dimja dibofilwe, which literally means that the dogs have been chained. That actually means you are welcome. Bagaetsu, on behalf of the Northwest University Management, Northwest University community, and the faculty, including the Dean's Office, we welcome all of you to this job summit. I look forward to a robust, interactive, virtual summit, and I'm confident the summit will come up with innovative ideas and recommendations to solve a problem of job creation for our people. I look forward to the report of the proceedings of this summit. This summit comes at a time where South Africa, and essentially the entire world is facing the difficult and challenging time of the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to take the lives of many people. While there is hope with the vaccinations, and hopefully also from the proceedings here, those are some of the issues that we need to address. Let us continue to observe all safety protocols, such as washing our hands regularly and sanitizing, ensuring social distancing and keeping safe. It is precisely for this reason that we have this summit virtually. It is not my intention to make a speech, but as I finish my welcome address, I must say that I am humbled by the response we have in terms of numbers. I did hear people talking of 500 people that have registered for this conference, which is very, very good. I wish the summit a successful and enlightening 2 days. And with the presence of our Vice Chancellor and the Minister later on, we have reasons to celebrate this August event. I thank you.
Professor Modise, thank you very much, sir. And now I'd like to bring on board our next speaker, which is Dr. Advocate Farelo Machitz. She is our Deputy Dean from the Faculty of Human and Social Sciences at the University of Venda. Dr. Machitz, please, your introduction of delegates.
Good morning, Chair, and the colleagues from the University of Northwest, the University of Venda, and other institutions.
Dr. Machitz, are you able to put on your camera?
Okay, I will.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Chair, for affording me the opportunity of introducing delegates from different institutions who are joining us in the IKS Job Summit. The delegates are from different institutions. I would like to begin with Dr. S. Bariseng from CIIR and Mr. A. Masoma from NYDA and Dr. A. Waisha, pardon me for the pronunciation, from MUST, and the Dr. Chabalala from DST, and Me M. Simela from Mimi Trading Company, Mr. N. Ramabrana, traditional leader, and Dr. M. Kati from NRF, Meji Halala from CSIR, Mr. T.A. Malapane, who is the chair for the 4IR Indaba Convention, as well as the last category on teaching, learning, research, and community engagement, Muchokolo Zulu from Madisebo University College, Dr. G. Sidupane from Northwest University, Mr. J. Makanike from the University of Venda, as well as Ms. T. Munduli from the University of Limpopo. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for that introduction of our esteemed delegates for this day's program on the 30th of March 2021, on the first day of the first National Indigenous Knowledge Systems Summit. I would like to now continue with the concept of music and song to carry our spirits through the program, and would like to invite Me Mandisa Mbangi contribution as a poet for us today.
Ngashani makwedini nixelisa abakhwetha bebhonga besebhomeni bebhonga bekhuza intswela ngqesho besithi safunda sawufika khona kodwa bana namhlanje sisambethwe bubuhlwempu indlala nentswela ngqesho kweyini madoda sawubheka phina ga re go loko ke go tswang ga se fano le fano ke tswa kgakala ko ntsweng ke palamitsipi ya makgwa ya maoto mabedi ka e sa batle le o kwane ka ke le go inawang ke sa ine seperuri ne ke tla le reka ka eng botlhoka tiro we tota la re lebe kae kana bana ba rutegile ba be ba apara dipurapura ya ne e kete ba gakaleditswe le uba la re go tweng ka dithute go tsone di le teng tlala le tshotlego di batla mo matshelong a bana nna ke botse dipotso tse ka ke itse gore ba ithutile gore ba be ba ithutele tsa botshelo jwa seAforika rona bana ba tharientsho re tshwana le ditshoswane tse dintsho tsa masonya re a phutana marapo a rona ga kokoniwe ke dintja mo sebatleng bontsho jwa rona bo bontle ka re le basweu ka ga teng mala o montsho montle thata bogolo jwang ga letsatsi le gaketse ka bo a phatsima ga lo a golegwa di alogane tsa IKS go molo le nteng mo ke bogwera le bojale ke gone gore re lo itse re be re reke makwalo dikgang.
Ladies and gentlemen, following that, we'd like to now introduce Dr. Motea Koitsiwe, who's going to provide us with the purpose of the summit. As Doctor is putting on his camera and his mic, I'd like to introduce him as the Acting Director for the IKS Center within the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, based at the Northwest University. Also a little background on Dr. Koitsiwe. He is also the first Africa PhD in African Indigenous Astronomy conferred by him by the Northwest University. So Doctor, as our leader, please, purpose of the summit.
Thank you, Dr. Moyashri Jalebu Hamaeto. Let me take this opportunity, colleagues, to also thank the Vice Chancellor and the Principal of Northwest University, Prof. Den Fadi, and also the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, Professor Mudise, and also Prof. Ramond, and also other distinguished guests also who are here, including also other deans and representatives from other universities, our partner institutions, which include University of Venda, University of Limpopo, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and also ourselves, including the students from also TUT and also from Mpumalanga, because you can realize that it's a consortium of actually the IKS ambassadors. So with those few words, colleagues, I would like to just give a little bit of a background as to why this summit and why all of us we are here. As you know that as the Northwest University from many years ago, we've been working on the program of Indigenous knowledge systems in terms of teaching, learning, research and community engagement. So we've been working with various stakeholders, including the Department of Science and Technology, now called the Department of Science and Innovation, and other departments like Sports, Arts and Culture, and even the University of Northwest, NFSAS. They've been working a lot to provide our students with funding. Because in the past, we used to have the Bachelor of Arts in IKS, but recently now we have the BIKS. So we discovered that most of our students, they face these predicaments to say that after graduating from the university, especially in this particular program, most of the students, they find difficulties in terms of finding employment in various departments of our government. There are a few departments who actually have these directorates and some programs in terms of development of IKS, like the Department of Arts and Culture. So some of these departments that I've mentioned and stakeholders, they've been pumping a lot of funds, which is a form of investment they've been doing into our universities. So our challenge and predicament, like as I said, even when we started this program, most of the children who, or the parents from the children who have registered and recruited, they always used to ask the question as to where these students are going to work after they complete their degrees. So this challenge has been now seen as a national challenge, because as you realize, it's not only Northwest University, there's also University of Venda, which is also having its own programs, and the University of Limpopo is also planning to do that. And it's not only undergraduate students, we also have postgraduate students. So we thought as the consortiums and especially the IKS ambassadors, who is a forum of undergraduates and postgraduate students who are unemployed, and some of these students are still studying. They created a forum where they've been sharing ideas among themselves. And one of the recommendations was to call up upon this summit to say, can we call all the stakeholders, government, universities, and private sector to try and find, a consensus on how we can be able to help these students, because it's not only the students who want to go and find some employment somewhere, but some of these students, they do have some entrepreneurial, background or some skills which they need to be developed so that they can also create their own business from the products and some of the knowledge that come from their own local communities. Because we know that IKS have got the potential for commercialization, and IKS now in the country is a national asset, because we know last year the president of South Africa, he also signed the IKS Act, which is now a law of the country, whereby it is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that we promote indigenous knowledge systems. And as a Northwest University and others, we have already made our way through efforts of decolonization and transformation of our education system by integrating IKS within the curriculum of education that we have at Northwest University. So this Bachelor of Indigenous Knowledge Systems is now a national qualification, and any university which is interested in that, they can always register this program. It is always painful, colleagues, to have the students that we graduate every year, and then we find them in the streets, whereby some of them, they can't find any employment, or some of them, they divert to other programs, whereby even to recruit them back to do their masters and PhDs is a problem. Boremukakale, they know this challenge very well. And other students who have been in this program now, they are no longer engaging in IKS. They are totally doing something different from what they qualified from. You find somebody now is teaching English somewhere else as a teacher because he couldn't find any relevant job that is based on the qualification that she has or he has acquired from the university. So we really want to find, some strategic engagements among ourselves as universities, as stakeholders, and as government, working with strategic partners like Department of Science and Innovation and the Department of Sports and other departments who can develop programs that can make sure that our students, are integrated into the work environment so that they can be able to develop themselves and even their own, because unemployment is not only a challenge in South Africa or only among the IKS graduates, it's a global phenomenon. So we thought this summit is not going to, like as we say, it's not going to be like a silver bullet or provide all the solutions, but we believe from this summit we'll be able to come up with some recommendations that can take us forward and to make sure that going forward we can be able to invest more among the future of these IKS students. So colleagues, with those few words, I would like to stop there because I think there are speakers and renowned panelists and chairs who will bring the details in terms of now, how are we looking at this from various aspects as government and also as other institutions. And I'm also very humble, colleagues, even myself, for this forum. And I believe we're going to have vigorous engagements and interactions to make sure that at the end of the day, we can also provide the ambassadors with some kind of a light at the tunnel, because it's very painful, like as I say, to see our students who have been investing a lot in terms of resources and time. And then we see them, they're lingering in the streets, or their future, it looks like as if it is doomed. Molomo o tshela noka e tletse ba gaetsho ke tla e beya phefolwana fao le nna ke tla nna ntse ke le teng boletse ke a leboga program director. Thank you very much.
Dr. Koitsiwe, thank you very much for that background. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move into the next session of our program, I'd just like to reiterate that our IKS human capital, as Dr. Koitsiwe has indicated, is a critical resource for the country in order to generate that creativity, innovation, and new ideas in order to build this knowledge-based economy, as well as for sustainable development and livelihood. So the engagements that follow on the program looks at how we integrate our rich diversity of cultures, knowledge systems, languages, and value systems in partnership with public and private sectors to create that competitive advantage for the country. Our colleagues in the next interactive session, sub-themed IKS and entrepreneurship development, will be chaired by our colleague, Mr. Motsile Maditsi, who is based at the Northwest University with an interest in traditional governance and democracy. Mr. Maditsi, you will be the chairperson for the session. I welcome you as you bring on your panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, the interactive session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maheshwari. Colleagues, as indicated, I'm Motsile Maditsi. I'm based here at the Northwest University in the Mafikeng delivery site. I am a PhD candidate in IKS and also a newly appointed lecturer here at the IKS Center. Colleagues, in this session, we will be focusing on IKS and entrepreneurship development. This is because, as Dr. Koitsiwe indicated, we've got students and graduates who have the abilities to be entrepreneurs within the field of indigenous knowledge. There's what we call indigenous innovation, and it has proven to be very vital to provide a kind of sustainability for our graduates. On the panelist list, the first presenter for the day is Dr. Sechaba Baretsing, who is based at the CSIR. I'm going to give a brief biography of Dr. Sechaba Baretsing before he can continue presenting for us. Dr. Sechaba Baretsing is a highly experienced manager with a proven aptitude to manage different projects. Before being appointed at the St. Bio Hub, Dr. Baretsing was managing the Indigenous Knowledge Systems and Biodiversity Management portfolio within then the CSIR Bioscience Natural Product and agro-processing technology platform. His management experience includes roles such as Deputy Director of Biotechnology and Policy Implementation and Deputy Director of Hydrogen Economy at the Department of Science and Innovation. Dr. Shaba holds a PhD in microbiology, a master's degree in management in innovation studies, as well as a diploma in management advancement program, and also a postdoctoral research experience in biotechnology. Dr. Barretzing, with those few words, I would like to give the platform to you to share your insights with us about IKS and entrepreneurship development. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Shaba.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you so much for those kind words. Okay, let me switch on my mic. Okay. Thank you so much for those kind words, Chair. Good morning, colleagues, and thank you kindly for the invitation to participate in this important event on IKS Job Summit. So I was asked to make a contribution on IKS and its role in entrepreneurship in South Africa. And here I've got a presentation which I would like to share. Is it possible if I can do that? I'm trying to see from my side if I'm able to share such a presentation with colleagues. Can you advise?
Doctor, are you able to see a share icon on your screen?
Oh, okay, yeah, there it is, sorry. Colleagues, please confirm if you're able to see my presentation.
Yes, Doctor. You can make it to your slideshow now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. For me, really, personally, IKS has been the most passionate field of both study, research, business, and entrepreneurship. I believe that there are a whole lot of opportunities within this field of indigenous knowledge systems, primarily coupled to the biodiversity that we have in the country, which the traditional health practitioners continue to utilize as a form of primary health care, amongst other things. It is from that perspective that, particularly from the traditional health practitioners, I believe that they need to go beyond from being healthcare providers from indigenous knowledge systems perspective. I understand that their calling from the ancestors is to help the nation through their knowledge, through their technologies that they produce based on those medicinal plants species. But they can also go beyond that in becoming entrepreneurs, to make money for themselves, to participate in mainstream economic growth and development, and then also being involved in the whole lot of capacity development initiatives that are strategic to South Africa. So from the CSIR perspective, we are involved heavily on indigenous knowledge systems, mainly from the research, product and process development, capacity building, as well as entrepreneurship. We work with the indigenous knowledge holders. We also work with the traditional health practitioners who approach the CSIR in connection with the panel of their traditional medicine products, which they use to treat different health problems. And then we also work with young aspiring entrepreneurs who have identified an opportunity within this field to start a business. These are not necessarily the knowledge holders. These are the people who have identified an opportunity to say, here is the plant that has been used for so many years or for so many centuries. How can we create a business out of it, right? And then make money. And this is what really, from the CSIR perspective, we are advocating, especially now that we have the new strategy called the industrialization strategy, to say, how do you use science, technology development as an offering for industrial development? So for those who are not aware of what CSIR is, CSIR stands for Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. We are a government-owned institution, and we have been established in terms of the Act of Parliament, and we report to the Department of Science and Innovation. So within the CSIR, we have a program called Bioindustry Development Center, in short, the BIDC. So the BIDC is a program which has been established to support entrepreneurs throughout the value chain of research and innovation in product and process development with the intention to create jobs in South Africa. So why the BIDC in respect to the national industry needs? South African industry needs really need innovative products and technologies. And this is where, from the beginning of my presentation, that I believe traditional health practitioners do produce innovative products and technologies, right, that can accelerate growth across a variety of sectors, right? And also, industry needs technology localization, scale up productization of the R&D. This is where also CSIR comes in. We provide a strong offering in this regards. As an example, scaling up the traditional health, the traditional medicines products that are being developed by the traditional health practitioners. So, but the problem is primarily access to investment by these stakeholders that I have alluded to on how to improve on their existing products, how to scale them up, and how to access the market. So now the CSIR response that is to de-risk that investment through the provision of the resources, scientists, capacity to help this particular sector. And then also we provide access to infrastructure, right, for product development, concepts, to access to market. So I'm not gonna dwell too much. This is I'm sure you are aware of this innovation process. Some call it the value chain. And CSIR operates here in process development and piloting. Here, basic research, applied research is mostly the universities where they operate to develop proof of concepts, and then CSIR will come into upscaling that process and then optimizing it, and then handing over to industry to commercialize and put the product on the market. And there's a whole lot of the biomanufacturing industry offering, which the traditional health practitioners also are part of that. Unfortunately, their business is not really that formalized, optimized, and also sadly recognized. So that is why at CSIR to say, how do you strengthen the offering that the indigenous knowledge systems, mainly from the traditional medicine products, can play a significant role in the sector and contribute to wealth, contribute to job creation, and then also contribute to capacity training, capacity building. So these are some of the case studies that I would like to share with you. As you can see here, these are my colleagues, Lara Kozie and Cash. And then this is Miss Vita Pharmaceuticals. She's an entrepreneur. She is not a traditional healer. However, she has identified an opportunity to develop a business based on Baobab. So entrepreneurship is about identify an opportunity and running with it and create value out of it and then make money, right? And contribute to broader scheme of the economy. So here she's identified an opportunity in the Baobab where CSIR supported her in terms of formulating and fortified porridge from the Baobab powder, right? And then CSIR supported also or assisted in terms of packaging, doing the nutritional analysis on the Baobab powder, as well as doing the shelf life studies. And then also providing capacity building on IKS, because IKS is a very, can I say, complicated area with full of regulatory requirements in order to access the market, or even to access the knowledge in itself is regulated in South Africa. I'm sure you are aware of the South African Biodiversity Act on Access and Benefit Sharing, which regulate access to indigenous knowledge, and also it ensures that those who access that knowledge, either for research or for business purposes, have the requisite the legal agreements in place. So it requires prior informed consent, material transfer agreement, and benefit sharing agreements with the indigenous knowledge holders so that they benefit from the research or from the business venture that the entrepreneurs entered into. And now in 2019, our president signed the Indigenous Knowledge Systems into a law, also regulating access to indigenous knowledge, requiring that there must be a license, right? And then also all the legal framework must also be observed to ensure that indigenous knowledge is protected, and then IK holders benefit and are also recognized and respected. So this is some of the product that CSIR have developed, the porridge, as well as the bar, the snack bar from that. You see now we can actually productize the indigenous knowledge into different product concepts that can really participate meaningfully on the market. And then we also have another product here. You see this young lady here. She's also not a traditional healer, but identified an opportunity in this field, indigenous knowledge systems. So she has identified a plant which she has formulated into a tea beverage, and then she was incubated at the CSIR on product and process development. And then CSIR repackaged the entire product, the existing product, as well as formulated the product into tea bags right, from loose indigenous teas. And then we also supported in terms of doing the antioxidant testing and nutritional analysis of that root of the plant that she has formulated into a tea beverage. And this is how she started, really. It really started from the DSI, right? DSI, who is the custodian of the Indigenous Knowledge Systems legislation, right? Identified that opportunity. Can you see, do you realize now Indigenous knowledge, like from the entrepreneurship, it can even start at the policymakers, because the DSI was able to identify that opportunity and then ensure that they provide the necessary support to this young lady. And now they even supported this young lady in terms of packaging the manufacturing equipment, right, for this teas, right? Because originally she was producing from a kitchen, you see, and now her business has been scaled up in terms of the packaging of the manufacturing equipment, and then also continue providing training, because IKS evolves. So we need to keep up to date. They need to be aware of the same product concepts. What are the regulatory requirements? What are the needs of the communities? How do you work with the communities to make them part of the value chain? And this is what the DST has been advocating. I'm sure Dr. Ank is gonna speak to the Ubuntu-based innovation model that they have developed. It's a very nice model that they have conceptualized, and we are implementing as institutions that are especially reporting to the DSI, to the knowledge holders, and then the broader industry. So another one is on Pepisa Naturals by the late Pepsile Maseko. Also was one of the incubators at the CSIR based on the Pepisa plant, and then we formulated the product into creams, and then we did several scientific studies, from data safety studies, stability studies, and then also packaged the entire product, designs, and then also labeling to ensure that it conforms with the regulatory standards for South Africa. So colleagues, I am going to end up here. So what I'm saying is, my strong message is, especially to the students who are in this field of Indigenous knowledge systems, they need to be open-minded and read a lot, find out from other entrepreneurs, and then also at CSIR, we can also assist in terms of creating that awareness to say there are opportunities in this area. And if you are really business-minded, you're entrepreneurial, and they can just reach out. As CSIR are here, we can even invite them to our research facility, show them around the type of projects that we are doing, and then also share information on funding opportunities in South Africa. What are the funding agencies? What are their requirements, and how can you access that opportunity to harness your entrepreneurial ability or edge to become a business person and make lots of money? Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Schaba. Colleagues, I think we have had quite an earful from Dr. Schaba. He highlighted quite a number of vital points, such as a prior informed consent and benefit sharing. You know, I encourage all the attendees to stick around for the entire 2-day summit, because these are some of the issues that are going to be unpacked even from tomorrow. You know, because when you're looking at entrepreneurship, IKS entrepreneurship development and you're looking at community economic development, these two are kind of linked, but we had separated them so that we can get meaningful interactions from various knowledge holders and panelists from various departments to share with us. You know, I like the fact that you also highlighted the IK Act of 2019, which we are busy as the IKS Center doing the public awareness, the DSI, around the country. So thank you very much for that, Dr. Chaba. Colleagues, I am now moving to, or what I can say for now, all the questions that will be raised, we will have a session where a Q&A session after these presentations, where now all the questions or comments that you might have will be filtered around that, and then the panelists will be able to answer. So I encourage all the people who've got questions to clearly state who the question is meant for from the panelists. All the panelists will be presenting, state who you are directing your question to, so that we can directly address the responsible panelist can directly address the question. Thank you very much. And now moving on to our next panelist, we are moving to Mumpati Komanyani Mudimukhali. I'm going to give a brief biography also of Mumpati. Mumpati is a founder of Anga Holdings, trading as Moody Donkey Farm based in Mahikeng in the Northwest Province. The Moody Donkey Farm are specializing in production and the selling of raw donkey milk, as well as the manufacturing of cosmetic products from the donkey milk. Moody Dairy Farm is based in Mayayani village, and currently they have 30 lactating donkeys. So of course, because they're up and coming, they're currently coming across financial constraints, but they are envisaging such a huge development within the business avenue. Mumpati holds a communication degree from here at the Northwest University, and he also holds a pig production degree at the Bensfield Training Academy in KZN. Mumpati, we are giving you now this opportunity to share with us from your company. Thank you very much.
Marjanum Ibo Kaleboga Ntate Maditse video ga ke yo mo video Ntate Maditse ga ke yo mo video Ntate Maditse
Ya go utlwa Mumpati ke tla leka go bua le our service provider to assist with that regard. Marekane ra tswela in the meantime, I'm projecting your slides.
Okay, no, ke a leboga. Let me take this opportunity and greet everyone and ke le leboga at the university, more especially Dr. Koitsi for inviting me to do the presentation. Like you said, my name is Mumpati Komanyani Mudimukhale. I'm the founder of Moody Donkey Farm, where we are selling donkey milk, like you said. And I'm just going to give a brief presentation regarding the opportunities within the entrepreneurship development, KS. If we go to, can we please go to slide 2? Thank you, sir. Here I'm just giving you a brief explanation of IKS-based entrepreneurship. It's something that it has always been there, and it's encouraging our IKS graduates to start tapping into the business opportunities. I'm happy that Dr. Baretseng has alluded to the fact that they are now assisting the IKS people. So I think it's an opportunity that our IKS graduate, they need to start looking at it in terms of manufacturing indigenous plant-based medicines. If we go to another slide 3. Now, if you look into this slide, what I'm doing here, what I tried to do here was the indigenous knowledge and the technological innovation. You can't separate the IKS from the technological innovation because the two are the same. You need the technology to promote your business, and you need the technology to test your product. And why I'm saying this is because majority of our indigenous knowledge people, they only do things without testing their products. For argument's sake, if you are staying in Mafike, you go to town, you'll see our traditional healers selling their medicine there on the street. And you ask yourself whether those medicines were tested or what. So it's another thing that we need to, our students, to do partnership with those kind of people to help them promote their products. And on that, we need the technological innovation, because like Dr. Koitsu said, the innovation now is the future. So we need our students from the graduates from the IKS to start being innovative. And you can see here, according to World Bank report 1998, confirms that the most important investing in IKS integration into development can help to reduce poverty. And it's also unutilized resource in development process, including poverty alleviation. So I'm saying, I'm encouraging them today to say they need to start being business people and use the skills that they have learned from the years that they were studying the IKS. We can go to slide 4, please. Here are the business opportunities that they are there on the IKS. As I was busy preparing this, I came across these 5 topics: health medicine, tourism development, environmental conservation, community agriculture, research in IKS. When you look into the health and medicine, we don't have pharmacies that are selling ditlhare, your indigenous based medicine. You don't have that. And in Mafikeng, for argument's sake, we don't have a laboratories that they test melemo eo. I mean, for dingaka tsa Setswana to be dispensing melemo, for me, they need indigenous knowledge students to create laboratories so that those laboratories will be able to test melemo eo. For argument's sake, when the COVID started, people were talking about drinking lengana. The challenge about drinking lengana was overdosing it, because a direction you should consume lengana leo young. So if we had a pharmacy or a laboratory where they would have tested those things, at least people will be able to have been told how to consume lengana leo. I mean, like now today you go to a taxi rank where they sell motosa. that Mozosa, it's a 2-liter bottle, but they don't have recommendations of saying how you should consume that Mozosa. So we need pharmacies that are more based on our indigenous knowledge, and we need laboratories that will be able to test those things. I mean, the other thing that is killing our indigenous knowledge is this thing of whenever you ask to be something to be done, you are always being asked about your scientific tests. So there should be a difference between this Western laboratory and our indigenous knowledge system. I remember I once tried to take my milk to CSRI, and until today, I'm waiting for them to come back to me to give me an opportunity to test my donkey milk. So I think that one I will do it with Dr. Barete. We go to tourism. There are people who will come from overseas, and they will be looking to eat our traditional food. So we don't have that kind of restaurants. And also environmental convention. We need students who will be able to assist in terms of protection of indigenous plants. I mean, now people just go to Kosokweng and go and so we need people who will be able to say, but this season, because so we need people who will start companies and start saying our focus will be in terms of protection of our indigenous plants. Community agriculture. We need students who will start companies that will be able to plant and sell seeds of those our indigenous plants. For argument's sake, it's very difficult now to get lengana. It's difficult now to get devil's claw. It's difficult now to get African potato. So we need students who will be able to create seeds for those plants and sell those plants. So because we need those kind of plants. So I'm saying opportunities are there for our students to say they need to start those companies. And also we need students who will focus on the research. I mean, like now I need, in our company, we want to have partnership with IKS Northwest University to do a research, because as I was busy doing the research regarding the indigenous knowledge about the donkey milk, most of the researchers were outside South Africa. So it's an opportunity for them to do a research about the donkey milk. How do our old people used to use the donkey milk before? Because in my experience, we at home, they used to feed us with donkey milk. And if somebody has an ear infection, they will take that donkey milk and put it inside your ear to heal that ear infection. So we need our students to do more researches regarding those opportunities. Can we go to another slide, please? So again, the previous slide and this slide are the same, because they talk about employment opportunities. So in short, into this slide, I will say it has been basis for local level decision making in agriculture, healthcare, food preparation, education, natural resource management. So to do a stimulus economic development. So we need our students to start thinking of creating their businesses. And once they have started their own businesses, that will be able to create jobs for them. Because we have so many opportunities, in healthcare. I mean, today, there are some sicknesses that they don't need Western medicine, but those sicknesses, they want our traditional medicine. But like I said, we don't have professional pharmacists selling that kind of medicine. For argument's sake, Motona messages, you go to a clinic or a doctor, they can't see nothing. But whenever you are sick, but if you had a company of students who have developed a medicine that is based on our indigenous plants, they will be able to assist us in terms of healing that particular person. I mean, Ntate Makakale will agree that there are some sickness tabana khujana. Bolwetse ba khujana needs to be treated in a traditional way. So hence I'm saying that there's a lot of opportunities within the IKS for students to start creating the businesses. Can we go to another slide? As I was doing my research, I came across that in 2001, I don't know, is this still existing or what, where there are funding opportunities. Maybe you'll advise me whether this program is still existing. So I was just trying to share with them that there are funding instruments within the IKS that our students can tap into opportunities. And also I heard that Dr. Barretzen talking about funding opportunities within their organization. Can we go to another slide? In conclusion, I'm just saying, encouraging our students really to stop depending on being employed. They must start saying now, they must now think outside the box and start now thinking about business opportunities. Because like I said, opportunities are there. Opportunities are there, and those opportunities are waiting for them to tap into those opportunities. But I think the other thing that we need to do, and I think I will discuss that with yourself and Dr. Kwait, to say we need a follow-up session where we'll invite the students to now look into, on that day, to focus on the opportunities, business opportunities within that. And I think on that day, we'll also need to invite Dr. Kwait to say, Dr. Barrete, to, on that day, to fully focus on the business opportunities. And also on that day, I will invite SIDA to come on board, and I'll also invite Dr. Sfiso Ntombela, who is a senior economist at NAMC, National Agriculture Marketing Council, to be part of the presentation on that day, so that we should really explore and discuss more into that. And also on that day, I hope that most of the students will be able to open the business opportunity, to open companies on that day, because SIDA will be able to assist them to open companies on that day. Ke a leboga Ntate Maditsi.
Thank you very much, Ramon Pati. The presentation that you've just shared with us. I like the fact that you mentioned the link between technology, innovation, and indigenous knowledge systems, and how the two can be harmonized to drive entrepreneurship development. You know, I like the fact that you are always reiterating that students should start thinking about developing or registering their companies and find that glitch of innovative skills that they can go about really exploiting and exploring, so that they can now start creating jobs for other graduates. We should not always look into the government to go and be employed there. We should also try to be innovative ourselves, find a gap that we can try to fill within the IKS stream. On the other slide, I saw that you mentioned something about developing indigenous epistemologies. I think it is in link with what Dr. Maheshri was just mentioning on one of the charts while I was reading the charts. She mentioned that it's very key to really project our indigenous epistemologies and worldviews, to put them out there so that they are not demonized. We need to harmonize all this, especially with the teaching, learning, research, and innovation. I thank you very much, Raymond Patti. Colleagues, I'm going to be moving to our next and the last presenter for this session. Our next presenter is Dr. Anke Vesey. I'm going to give a brief background about Dr. Anke. Dr. Anke is an agricultural engineer and has a master's in tropical agriculture and natural resource management. She has more than 16 years of experience in tropical agriculture, value chain development, and agribusiness in Eastern and Southern Africa. Currently, Dr. Anke is a co-founder and chair of Innovation and Business Management of the Farm Biotechnology and Traditional Medicine Center, Farm Biotrek in short, at the Mbarara University of Science and Technology in Uganda. She is a generalist working in the field of private sector development, business planning, business clinic, mentoring and advisory services to small and medium agro-herbal enterprises, value chain analysis and empowerment, large multi-country consortia project, program development and implementation, monitoring and evaluation, curriculum development and capacity building, institutional development, and some of the special areas that she covers is innovation platform and knowledge sharing, innovation incubation, startup grant management, institution building, agro-herbal product value addition, value chain development and small scale and herbal processing, traditional health practitioners, and also academia leakages and cooperation within medicinal species conservation. Ladies and gentlemen, with that short bio, I'm now bringing on board Dr. Anke. Dr. Anke. Dr. Anke, I think we are ready for you now to give us a presentation on IKS and entrepreneurship development.
Sorry. Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Doctor. We can hear you very well.
Yes, Doc, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'd like to discuss about youth technology transfer and indigenous innovations, how to make indigenous innovations and entrepreneurship attractive to the youth. First of all, we are thinking about innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is based on an idea generated by national borders or enhancing original innovation, co-innovation and reinvention based on the assimilation of imported technologies. Why indigenous innovation? Focusing on local needs, low cost, easy usage and maintenance, open access, compatible in tropical climate. You can see, for example, this helmet. It was an external innovation, but it was localized and having the tropical weather in mind. So local knowledge can adjust existing innovation or create new ones. Indigenous innovation has different sources, origin from young and old nationals. These are the people inside the country. Or origin from non-nationals in Africa. So someone from another country can come and bring indigenous knowledge of their original countries into the African continent. For example, a German person like me, I know how to make Thüringer sausages, which is an indigenous meat processing technique. I could come bring it to Africa and then it's origin from non-national in Africa. Or origin from Africans who are in the diaspora. So there are different sources of indigenous knowledge. The technology transfusion mechanism, including movement of goods through international trades, movement of capital, inward and outward foreign direct investment, movement of mostly young people through migration, travel and foreign education of students and workers, international research collaboration, mostly experienced people, and integration of global value chains to benefit from foreign technology transfer. Now, the innovation pathways use innovative and advanced technology development to solve current challenges, self-development. Youth and researcher working together to develop innovations partnership. Individuals and researcher teams become innovators and developing their own products, innovator push. Hackathons is a system of stimulating innovation among students and researchers. This is the innovation push. An example is the community-based youth innovation and advanced technology development. Empowering situation. Older knowledge holders have a robust system of interaction, knowledge acquisition, knowledge transfer to the younger generation. The upper picture, you see a blacksmith where an elder and a younger person working together. The resources are available within the community environment, and the technology tools needed are simple and mostly manufactured or bought locally. Use-based innovation, supporting situations. Now, the demand of new technology is growing. Modernization shift of desire. Affordable and easy accessible for rural population. Cultural appropriate. Need low investment in production of raw material and processing. Inhibiting situation, institutional. Insecurity about legal framework of innovation protection. Access to technical advisory service. These are the innovation incubation services. Access to basic technology and equipment is limited or no existence for the innovator to actually actualize their innovation. Environment for learning and practice from different world views, including peoples with no formal training, have access to universities and innovation centers. So in some cases, the limit, the innovator is there, but because it has no papers, cannot access the innovation incubator. Personal characteristics. Individualistic behavior among knowledge holders and innovators can hinder the innovation to develop further. Youth are not interested in taking on the profession, influenced by interest of quick gain and migration to cities. That is where you can have the generation gap between the old and the young, where the old has the knowledge and the young are not interested in taking on. So the knowledge custodian, for example, do not share proceeds with the direct engaged person. So there's another challenge that I have observed that, for example, when the traditional healers who get income and has a young son or daughter in the training, which is often in form of apprenticeship for 5 to 10 years, because the parents do not provide financial incentive to the youth, and yet youth, besides learning a skill, they also need to have money to actually start creating their own family, have their own personal needs. but because in some apprenticeship positions, the elder people are hesitant to give wealth or income to the younger ones. And this is one of the issues why some young people are interested in going to the city and have a cash labor instead of learning the trade of the older, of their parents or grandparents. So young innovator and researchers innovating together. Their knowledge gaps can be filled with researchers' knowledge. So when you have an innovator on one side, and then the innovation process has gaps, it can be filled by researchers or technical experts. Then reducing the labor need to make it more attractive to the youth, for example, through mechanization, and increased continuous standards of the products and make the innovation more user-friendly. For example, in herbal medicine, in some cases, the medicine will be given fresh fruit as a beverage, which can only be kept for maximum a week. Now, to make this more attractive, also to reach a wider market, when the product is further developed to be maybe more concentrated in a small bottle as a syrup or tincture, then it can be sold to a wider market and it's more user-friendly, less bulky, and can be kept for longer. So how can we support the young innovators? And one is through joint project, providing technical input to bring the products to the next level. Testing the products, proof of concept for a wider audience. That's the next level. Then increasing trust of the product by non-community members, like reaching the urban and regional market. And this is done through having the product further developed to make it compliant with the customer's needs. Solving challenge in accessing raw material by increasing mobility and on-farm domestication of medicinal plants, for example. And learning exchange with other IK holders and researchers. What could be the inhibiting situations? Institutions are hesitant of incorporating new ideas outside their framework. For example, providing access to their systems by people without formal training or certification. Donor projects intervention usually support expansion of proven concepts of technology. For example, the treadle pump is a small technology. Then supporting the development of innovative ideas. So there is a funding gap from idea generation to prototyping and proof of concept. So these elements of innovation is usually underfunded. Investors would like to take only the technology to then make money, also business. They like to have it after proof of concept and a certain period of sales so that we can see the pattern of sale, income on business, income cost, and see how the market responds, and we can expand the business by investing. So that's what I say, the proof of commercial concept we need to. Then upscaling, usually this is easier to get investor for upscaling than for reaching the level before upscaling. So what can be done is also that individuals become their own innovators by providing accessibility to research laboratory for the young peoples and also accessing technicians and fellow professionals. Time for innovation as employed researcher can focus on research. So if an innovator has like a stipend or kind of funding to actually concentrate on innovation instead of working somewhere and then doing the innovation as a hobby, there needs to be a funding mechanism that the innovator is able to concentrate fully on the innovation instead of looking for other activities to get an income to cover their life. Also working in a stimulative environment and exposed to other research and innovation so that the people can co-create and also share their experience in a team. And this is happened, for example, in an innovation incubator. So the supporting, how to support, interest shown by institutions, very important that institutions are interested, the incubator in the innovation, provision of platform for sharing ideas to the wider audience, having conferences and exhibitions, and providing institutional framework for attracting funds. So it's very important. Without funds, it's hard to further attract the youth to do the innovation. Usually, a challenge is the willingness to invest in providing the concept. So from the innovation, prototype to clinical field testing, proof of concept, this is usually an underfunded aspect. Universities have no innovation or business development department or center with financial support. It's coming in now that some universities have innovation and business development department or center, but that is also of recent. Individual level, innovators sometimes hesitate to open up to joint venture. And innovators may or may not be business people. So they need to work in teams so that the innovation becomes an entrepreneurship, and also working with social scientists or business, depending on what is their background. So examples of indigenous innovations in Uganda, we have the Safe Jacket, that is a medical tool to save children by having pneumonia detection. That is an easy to use tool for detecting pneumonia. The second one is making charcoal briquettes out of organic waste material. Banana juice from cooking banana. Cooking bananas are plenty available in Uganda. And juice is usually done from the sweet banana, which are more rare and more expensive. A similar juice can be produced by using an indigenous technique to ripen and then make from cooking banana. This is the matoke in Uganda, to make banana juice. And also creating textile from banana fibers from the stem of the banana after harvesting, and also bark clothes. That is a tree bark fiber. So these are natural occurring products, and textile has been created. The indigenous and foreign combination is a joint project and Barrow University has developed with an American university an augmented infant resuscitator. This is a tool for providing air to small infants, and it can be operated by a lay person because it has a display that you don't pump too fast, too little, too much. So everything is on the screen and someone can quickly learn how to use it and then use it on the infant. Some semi-trained medical professionals. And then precision 3D printing and electronic integration. That is, for example, done in America, and that product is now ready for commercialization. And it was sold to a large company in the US for commercialization. So here the institutional innovation framework. So we have the support system, governments, parastatal regulators, institutions, and subsidies. And we have actors. These are the innovators, the incubators, universities, companies, and funders. Now, you have on the left side the indigenous technologies and external technologies. And through participative problem and innovation identification, this can be done by community outreach and community level innovation camps. And this will be then transferred to the incubation system, which is in the middle part, the yellow. And the output of this innovation system are products, service, and processes to entrepreneurs and spin-off companies, or expertise, skills, and practice to experienced and exposed practitioners and scientists, so people can get knowledge. That is a generative innovation framework. We have the identification, the pre-incubation, recruitment, hosting and service, and post-incubation procedure. Recommendation for innovators: establish innovation hubs at major universities and technical vocational learning centers. There are mainly two ways to attract youth, that is in universities, but also the technical vocational learning centers are important for accessing the youth who do not access higher education, also university level learning. Integrate innovation process into school curricula and organize inter-school level innovation fairs. So this is on primary and secondary level, but the students already get an idea on the innovation processes and can start thinking of innovation even before they graduate. Provide relevant scholarships to sons and daughters of innovators to advance parents' innovation. In situ development, closing the generation gap. So, for example, you have traditional healers, Sangomas in South Africa, and you can support the indigenous practice of medicine by providing students, also the sons and daughters of Sangomas, of reputed Sangomas, to advance the studies in pharmacognosy, ethnobotany, and herbal medicine making. So that will also attract the young people to remain in the same trade as the parents or grandparents, and therefore the innovation remains alive by providing scholarships to the sons and daughters of innovators. Brokerage among innovators, researchers, technologists, and business community. And respect innovators' unique behaviors and needs. So an innovator usually is a little bit different from an average staff member or student who just, ordinary. I will not talk much now, but there is several aspects on innovators, on the framework they need to operate in it. This is another topic of the whole presentation on that, how to work with innovators on their unique behaviors and needs. Recommendation technology transfer. Now here, develop systems on innovation identification, especially from non-formal settings. So there are lots of innovation around, but how to have systems in place to identify innovation from non-formal settings. Establish funding for innovators to gain and provide concept level, ready for investors. So this funding to be ready for investor is needed. Foster innovator mentoring and innovation incubation. Facilitate access to foreign appropriate technology when local cannot be developed in a reasonable time. This is, for example, for small-scale herbal medicine processing machinery. In the first phase, it can be imported and later then localized and also produced locally. And it's very important to have robust institutional research and development policies. Recommendation, technology diffusion and transfer. Here, facilitate and support foreign education of students and professionals in areas of national and community interest. There are courses may provided by international universities which are not available locally, yet it's needed to foster the innovation. Facilitate reintegration of foreign trained students in national private job market. And exchange program, research collaboration with national and in diaspora, joint project visiting scientists, professor and professional, and facilitate reintegration of returning professional. There is a tendency that when students go out and get a course from outside, coming back and find no job. So it's important to have the right course to take not just following a scholarship opportunity because it's there. And secondly, also to see how a system can be developed to reintegrate a student which have studied from outside, providing innovative environment for them to either make their own business or join other businesses or the university. So thank you very much. And this is the end of my presentation. I thank the organizer for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to present in this international forum. Thank you very much.